Hey guys, ZMD here, back with another video. Hey, last video I talked about the negatives and difficult things about pursuing medicine as a career. Well, in this video I'm here to talk about the things that I do like about my job, the things that I like about medicine, and disclaimer, there's a lot. But I'm gonna give you the things that I find the most fulfilling in this profession and some of the glaring positives. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with anyone else you feel may be interested or maybe on the fence about maybe pursuing medicine. And also follow me on my other platforms, especially TikTok. I post daily over there with bits and pieces of advice. I post some comedy sketches, so I do all kinds of fun stuff. Make sure to check that out. Now, these are gonna be in no particular order, but I'll just start with whatever kind of comes off the top of my head. So number one, I would say the level of respect that is given to you by the general public is a very big, prominent positive. Now, there's very few professions that bestow upon you the level of respect that being a doctor gives you. I actually notice this pretty frequently in my day-to-day interactions. For example, let me tell you about this story where I was in the hospital cafeteria, and while I was waiting in line, this guy just flat out looked back at my white coat and my badge and said, "Hey, go ahead. You're probably busy, go ahead." And on that particular day, I remember I wasn't very busy, but I was astounded with the way that he said that. I mean, it caught me really off guard, and I eventually ended up getting in front of him, and I thought that he was so nice and generous that I wanted to kind of give back. So I ended up eventually just paying for his meal as well. And that's definitely not to brag or anything, but it was just kind of like I wanted to give back because I felt he was really, being nice. I mean, I also noticed this with my dad. I mean, my parents are both doctors, and I find that my dad often gets out of speeding tickets sometimes by casually mentioning, he just sticks it in there that, hey, I'm a doctor and this and this. And for some reason, the officer might just be like, "Oh, you know what? I love me some doctors. Yeah, that's really nice. So-and-so, I love doctors. They take care of my mom and my dad." And it's like, I don't know, he just somehow makes rapport with them and they end up just giving him a warning. So it's not gonna work for you most of the time, and chances are, I think being a female and flirting is probably your best bet to actually get out of a speeding ticket. But I don't know, he found a way to make that work for him. He needs to just stop speeding though. Next, I would say it's a boss feeling to be a doctor. Man, I love the feeling of being a doctor. It's like the older you get, the more you realize the value of being knowledgeable, being competent, and this is not a rip-off Ty Lopez quote, knowledge.
In my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
But no, man, in general, when you know a lot of things and they relate to everyday struggles of people, whether it's, skin problems or autoimmune diseases or blood pressure, blood diseases, you can really talk about this type of stuff with people, and there's a level of satisfaction that's hard to describe. I feel like your opinion matters there, and you definitely notice it and it feels good. It's a little hard to explain, but I think my colleagues can probably attest to having that same sort of feeling as well. Okay, number three, and this is a big one, and that is knowing that you're helping treat patients and helping with society. Now, I know all you pre-meds out there interviewing for med school burn this point to the grave. So I definitely think that there is a stereotype of always saying, you want to help people, that's why you're being a doctor. But it is genuinely true. I mean, you feel like you're saving people's lives and you're taking the time to educate them and talk to them about meaningful things like life and death discussions, goals of care for their loved ones. And there's a satisfaction that comes with all that. And you definitely feel like you're doing something for your community. My parents are actually doctors, and I remember growing up when we would go out to our local grocery shopping, we'd go to Walmart, we'd run into so many people who would just kind of acknowledge that they have helped them out so much, or that they're very appreciative of the things that they've done. And even my mom to this day has so many thank you cards in her office. So it's really nice, and I definitely think that it relates to that respect that I mentioned earlier, but it's still a great feeling. I still think that that's awesome to this day. Next, I would say feeling constantly challenged or always learning and not getting bored. Personally, now I enjoy that. I like to continue to learn things and challenge myself to grow and expand my level of knowledge, my skill set. And medicine really allows you to do that. And you never really are going to know everything about everything. I mean, even when you're becoming a subspecialist, it's like then you start losing sight of some of the other things in medicine. And overall, I mean, just working with people, it's a really cool feeling to try to integrate plans together with different doctors to come to an individualized, specific, unique treatment plan for one patient. It's a really cool feeling, and I enjoy that. Finally, the last thing is job security and good pay. Now, for some reason, pay is always a taboo thing to discuss, but I don't think it should be like that. In fact, I think it's pretty important. And with the amount of debt that people go into to obtain a medical education, you should feel like you deserve appropriate compensation for the work and the time that you put in. So with COVID, overall, I would say that the job market did take a little bit of a hit, but overall, I mean, I challenge you to find something that has the same job security as a doctor. I mean, it's like you're always gonna have sick people, right? Because all of us have an inevitable expiration date, and so unfortunately, we're all gonna get sick at certain points of our life. So being a doctor is a very stable, secure profession, and that ends up being a pretty big deal. I mean, you can see it now with so many people struggling for jobs at this point in time, although that's also because of the COVID pandemic. But these are some of the things that I think are very rewarding. Anyways, in the last video, I did talk about burnout and how it's becoming a pressing issue in medicine, and I think there are a lot of reasons for that. Personally, I know one person who committed suicide in this profession, but I think there's countless others, and I think the medical system and training has a lot of things to improve on, but that's for another video. So anyway, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below if you're interested in pursuing medicine or being a doctor. I read all my comments and I'll try my best to respond to you. You can message me on Instagram or my TikTok as well. Again, thanks for all the support and keep being a boss.